until you rise and shine up and at 'em. It's a phenomenal Wednesday. You're officially tuned into Cannabis with me, and I have the pleasure of being your host for this hour of power, Colette Ramsey, as we discuss the business of cannabis. Have you been? Are you ready for the new day? Are you energized and encouraged? Because you know that new days bring infinite possibilities. Whatever happened on yesterday, that was yesterday. Whatever it is that you are dealing with, that was on yesterday. Whatever the lessons that you needed to learn, you got them yesterday, so you're going to apply them today to make this day even better. And the way that I know that's going to happen is we're having the conversation. So if you have an interest in cannabis, if you didn't know that you had an interest, if you think you want to have an interest, then this is the show that you need to be tuned into. So whether you're in a partnership, as we are in partnership, to watch us on WHPS TV 33 or Cannabiz.tv, and now Newsflash, and if it's Facebook or Roku or Fire Stick or however you're meeting us, but let me just tell you, this is how it happens, because I just got this new great announcement. That's what happens when I've been gone and we're growing as a phenomenal station, that we are now on 15.1 as well. That is a regular television station that I guess you can get with an antenna. So in addition to Comcast 90, in addition to TV 33, in addition to Cannabiz TV, in addition to Roku, in addition to Fire Stick, we are now on 55.1. Don't you love that? That's what innovation is. That is what hard work does and what it produces when the goal is to educate, enlighten, and empower. And as I say in the political world, it is to engage, educate, and activate. And so I'm going to borrow a little combination of both of those on today, because that is what we're getting into on Cannabis. So you all know everything has been happening. You've heard it about vaping. And I was just wondering, I said, you know what, let me ask us if the first thing that you think about when you think about vaping is cannabis. Because I believe that a lot of us are not comfortable with, or we are aware of what vaping is. So let me share with you, based on the centeronaddiction.org, they have described vaping and identified vaping as an act of inhaling and exhaling the aerosol, often referred to as vapor, which is produced by an e-cigarette or a similar device. This term is used because e-cigarettes do not produce tobacco smoke, but rather an aerosol, often mistaken for water vapor, that actually consists of fine particles. Many of these particles contain varying amounts of toxic chemicals, which have been linked to cancer as well as respiratory and heart disease. And let me further inform us that vaping has grown in popularity with the rise of the e-cigarettes, which were introduced to the mass market in the United States in 2007. So it's been a while. I didn't realize that it had been 12 years, but it's been a while. And vaping devices include not just e-cigarettes, but also vape pens and advanced personal vaporizers. E-cigarettes, which resemble smoked cigarettes, and vape pens, which resemble large fountain pens, are typically simpler in design and less expensive than devices that have been customized by the user. So I wanted to give you an overview, because for the truth of the matter, and I believe that it's probably a strong demographic component, that I know younger people are vaping. I believe that everyone is vaping, but specifically as it pertains to what we've heard in the news about the issues of serious illness and lung collapse and problem breathing, it has been associated and attached to our youth. So let me give us, if I can, a moment to have a brief feedback from a doctor that talks about e-cigarettes and lung disease. Specifically, is vaping safe? And he goes by the name of Z-Dog, MD. It's only about a couple of minutes. So let's take a look at the clip and let the doctor tell you, is vaping safe?
I get it. Vaping is dope. It kind of tastes good. Like if you used to smoke cigarettes, a lot of people have quit by vaping and they feel like it's a safer thing, because burning a cigarette is like, we know you're going to get cancer or emphysema eventually the longer you do it. And so vaping has really kind of supplanted this. A lot of young kids, though, are vaping as the only thing they do and becoming hooked on nicotine-containing products. So that's a downside. But then the bigger downside that's all over the news now is people are apparently dying. And I'm hearing this from friends that are physicians. They're seeing this lung disease, severe, severe illness, and a few deaths already from people who've been vaping. Now, we don't know exactly what's going on. It seems to be associated with CBD-containing products, some kind of additive or adulterant, whether it's a vitamin C acetate, whether it's some spiking of a synthetic marijuana derivative in these products. The bottom line is, the reason I'm telling people right now, don't vape until we figure this out, is because we just don't know. And the regulatory environment behind this is so behind the innovation in these products that now they're everywhere, but nobody really knows how to regulate or test them or do anything. And it took us a long time to figure out that cigarettes would slowly kill you. And the question is it going to take us a long time to figure out that vaping is either going to slowly kill you or kill you instantly, depending on what adulterant is in the vape juice? So I think the safest thing to do is just smoke cigarettes, because they're totally natural. I mean, American Spirits, right? Right? You guys giving me money, American Spirit? I'm kidding. The best thing to do is try to quit all of that. Don't start if you don't already smoke, and wait until we learn more. We need to study it, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of regulation, but we need to regulate the hell out of it, because it can potentially injure people if you don't. So here's the call to action. Share this thing. If you vape now and you've quit smoking and you're vaping, try to stick with products that are kind of mainstream. Don't go into that weird CBD. By the way, guys, let's be honest. The CBD stuff is placebo, unless it has a little THC adulterated in it, which often is the case, in which case you're a little high. That's the reason you're less anxious or you have these effects that you think you have, or it's placebo. The studies on CBD so far are inconclusive. So stop listening to your bros, maybe meditate, do some deep breathing. There's a million ways to chill that don't involve putting your life at risk immediately with something we don't understand yet. And look, maybe I sound like an old man. It's because I am an old man. I mean, look at me. I'm in front of white. Who does that anymore? All right? Z-Dog out. By the way, become a supporter, subscribe, hit the little bell. We love you. We need you. It's a tribe. Health 3.0.
So I'm so appreciative of that. And let me just tell you, and you get the comedic overture in the conversation, but what he said is true. Like, at the end of the day, we just have to stop whatever we're doing that can attribute to our ill health. Do you not get that? And let me just tell you, for anyone who is caught up in components specifically pertaining to cigarette smoke, it is no joke. I've been traveling. You all, thank you so much for all your outreach and well wishes. I've been gone for the last week or so. And let me tell you, like, being in a space, if you don't smoke cigarettes and you're around someone, especially on the outside, like waiting at the airport or whatever the case may be, and people are smoking, that nicotine and that secondhand smoke is the strongest, I believe, smell ever. And it just kind of attacks you. It attacks your system. And maybe I just have a sensitive immune system as well. But I'm thinking, wow, if I can inhale, and by no matter wherever way I was moving and the wind was blowing, it just seemed like it was just taking me over, that if I get that smell, it seemed like it was just as pure as it was. What is it like going in your system? But let me just say to the individuals that I was trying to elude myself, get away from, they were smoking cigarettes. They weren't vaping. And what did the doctor say? That a lot of times it is all about a conversation. And that's why the right conversations matter. Because what we believe as trendy, what we believe as attractive, and I believe what our young people believe as a miseducation, that, oh, it's okay for me because it's not a cigarette. And so I'm not smoking cigarettes. I'm not inhaling like from the filter and the cigarette. I'm vaping. And then it's cool. And then if you have flavors and all of these other things, and where does that come from? And that's a marketing component to get to our young people, but isn't everything that we deal with in this society, specifically to cannabis marketing. So we can go back from the historical perspective of reefer madness and how bad it was. It was going to make everybody go crazy. But now we're to a point with the same people that were legislating it then that put black and brown people in prisons, or lower economic white America in prisons, that now those, excuse me, White men who are running these billion-dollar corporations are now growing the same thing that we're consuming in mass droves. Ah, do you think about that? And then now the marketing behind that is that's fine because we're going to legislate it. Well, let me just tell you, there's some breaking news flash. As announced by our own Congresswoman Maxine Waters, she made a statement. You know, she's a Democrat from California, and she made a statement on yesterday in it regards House consideration of the Safe Banking Act and need for comprehensive cannabis reforms. Newsflash, everyone. And I quote, I am very pleased that the Safe Banking Act, which makes reforms to ensure the state authorized and regulated cannabis businesses are not forced to operate with cash only, an issue which Representatives Perlmutter and Heck have worked for the past 6 years, will be on the House floor this week. So that means this week. This week, the House is going to vote on banking for the cannabis industry. She further goes on to say that, as I have said before, this bill is one important piece of what should be a comprehensive series of cannabis reform bills. And quote again, I have long fought for criminal justice reform and deeply understand the need to fully address the historical, racial, and social inequities related to the criminalization of marijuana. I support legalization that deschedules marijuana federally, requires courts to expunge convictions for marijuana-related offenses, and provides assistance such as job training and re-entry services for those who have been disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. I am supportive of Representative Barbara Lee's Marijuana Justice Act and Chairman Nader's bill, the MORE Act, which both take these critical steps to provide justice for those who have suffered as a result of marijuana criminalization. And let me just know, let you know, as it pertains to the legislation, we will be addressing the Marijuana Justice Act next week, as well as the MORE Act from a legal legislative perspective. But we're moving forward. So you see how marketing happens? That same concept, the same notion of this this plant is now legal. And it's healthy. But when you have the combinations of things, and that's why it was so important for me to address vaping with us today, because so many people who are getting into the cannabis space, who are trying to learn about the cannabis space, they might not really understand the dynamic of the separation from vaping and then CBD. And then what the oil looks like. And then if it's vitamin E, because that is not a great thing to be able to try to smoke. But there's a couple clips further along the way on PBS NewsHour that we're going to show that really talks about what we are consuming in these vape pens. But let me go to the line before we pull up some additional resources from John Hopkins, 5 vaping facts that you need to know. But let me go to the line. Oh, callers, where'd you go? Call me back. I'll get you on the line. So let me go into the 5 vaping facts that you need to know. John Hopkins states, and this is through Michael Balaha, he's MD and Director of Clinical Research at the John Hopkins Cacarone Center for Prevention of Heart Disease, and he shares the truths about vaping. 1, vaping is less harmful than traditional smoking. Isn't that interesting? Did you ever think that we would get to the point where we would have a comparative about one device versus the other as it pertains to smoke and lung-related illnesses and deaths, as the previous doctor said? And maybe it's just that we don't understand what is happening across this country pertaining to deaths from vaping. So you know what? Before we proceed with this list, I got another video for us. You know what? No, let me finish the list, and then we'll go to the video, okay? So vaping is less harmful than traditional smoking, and they state that regular tobacco cigarettes contain 7,000 chemicals, many of which are toxic. 7,000 chemicals. And while we don't know exactly what chemicals are in e-cigarettes, Balaha says, there's almost no doubt that they expose you to fewer toxic chemicals than traditional cigarettes. Isn't it amazing? So now we're in a comparative of how many toxins. So we're going to take in toxins, but we want to determine which one is less harmful. Let's go to the line for a minute. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Wow. They minor and major and major and minor. Huh?
Right. How's that? Right. Figure it out. You were supposed to figure it out now, which is better for us.
Well, I've always thought, and I'm glad Dr. Clark had reiterated in one of his speeches that when you choose the lesser of two evils, you still choose evil. So,
Nice. 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 Nice.
so it's already telling you one, it's a toxin.
Okay.
Okay, so we should stop there.
Okay.
You would think
Okay.
we're inhaling something that's toxic. Why such the big war on just plain marijuana? Why even include that in this fight? You feel me, Colette?
Okay.
They
Yeah.
have always been masters at this. Now, dig this.
Okay.
They locked us up for years for selling it,
Yeah.
done other things to us for years for dealing with it,
Yes.
got paid to do that.
Yes.
Now they're getting paid to reverse it.
Reverse it. Right.
They getting paid to reverse their own damages. Isn't that? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ingenious. I'm going to make them sick.
Yeah.
They're going to pay me to make them sick.
Yeah.
And then they're going to pay me to help heal them.
Yes.
I'm going to destroy Flint's water, get paid to destroy their water source, and get paid to restore it. Wow. Do y'all see the what's going on here?
No.
With
No.
this conversation.
Right.
I locked y'all up for so long. I'm not going to face any reparations for it. Nothing's going to happen to me because I did that. But all good is going to happen to me because I got the solution. I'm sorry I gave you 13 years.
Yeah.
Of the 190 million you made serving in my federal penitentiary, I'm willing to give you $1 million back
Yeah.
for your wrongful conviction.
Yes.
Out of the 190 million you made me,
Sure.
after displacing you, denying you freedom, now I redress myself in marijuana and cannabis,
Yes.
and I get to put on a new hood, a new
Yes.
face.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I got the answer. Yeah, because you're the one caused the problem.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Well, because again, we don't understand America. And I'm just going to say this, everyone. And it doesn't, we happen to be talking about cannabis, but I mean overall. We don't understand America. We don't understand how America was established. We don't understand politics, the business of politics. And stay there, Six, for that example. Yesterday was National Voter Registration Day, right? That was yesterday. So all across this country, everyone was taking an initiative to educate individuals and talk about the importance of your vote, okay? And then stay there. So in the midst of majority of us not understanding the voting opportunity, then we don't understand precinct delegates in the voting opportunity, and we don't understand them in the electoral process that then shapes the electoral college, which then gives those 20 some votes here, the 26 that President Trump is trying to get back in from Maryland. Those are the votes that then shape who becomes the presidential candidate and then ultimately the president of the United States. Now, I'm not here to tell you that your vote does not matter. That is not my conversation, but you have to understand, to Six's point, let's go back of what I shape and how I shape and frame things that created a concept of a democracy. And so what he's sharing with you is that everything that we have gone through in America, every hoop that we've jumped through, every system that we believe that we've understood, given by them that they control, that we work so hard to function in and to then emulate and then perpetuate upon each other, will never work for us. How you like that?
It sure won't. And here's the kicker.
Okay.
In Detroit alone, I love when you talked about this. I think it was last week when you put the Arabic Chaldean speaking guy in check about he talking about jobs, but we're here at the table talking about ownership.
Say it. Say it.
Watch this recolonization of black people and money to the Arabic Chaldean community.
Yeah.
And they are the biggest champions in this thing.
Yes. Yes.
Now, just think
Yes.
about
Wait, no,
this.
no, no. Stay there for a minute, Tix, because I really want you all to get what he just said. And specifically, as we talk about what this whole social equity looks like in Michigan right now, and specifically in the 19 communities that they've identified that now have all these extra perks. I'm going to give you the discounts if you're able to do business. I'm going to help give you a resource that helps you get through the application process. Let's tell the truth for what it looks like policy wise. And all these disadvantaged communities, the same 19 that they've identified, are the same 19 that had emergency manager or city administrations that came in and stripped the municipalities of their resources, are those same communities in which the Arab American community has then owned the gas stations, the party stores, the grocery stores, the liquor stores, and those same communities. And they're the same ones who are now then coming to the table because they want to diversify their portfolios to take over cannabis in our same communities. And so we sit here as the legislators, as the gate openers, as the puppet masters, if you will, in this space, and we don't even understand what that means. And I say that because you can sit and say, oh, yes, we're going to do social equity. But again, if we've never had the experience of running a business, if we don't have the capital to be able to establish a business, even in cannabis, we will not win. We will do just what that gentleman was suggesting, that, oh, I'm going to make 50% of my workforce black folk in the community. And then maybe one day you all save enough money and then you can buy into the business too, because it's enough business and money for everybody. Do you get that?
Yeah. Recolonization. That's
Man.
all this is. They
Yeah.
recolonizing your mind, how you think about this, because they want you to believe that a $15 an hour job at the weed house that we used to lock you up for working at before
Yes.
is the
Yes.
greatest thing. How is it
Yes.
that all of a sudden Arabs and Chaldeans are into the weed house?
Yes. Because
Ain't
they've
that
been
something?
because they've been into it.
Been into it, been
Yeah.
supply. Listen,
Yeah.
this is nothing new. And I tell people this, don't think that I'm digging down on them. This ain't no dig at them.
No.
Because they'll say we were racist for saying this. When you encourage black people not to deal with certain people, they say you racist for alerting your own people. Isn't that something?
Well, stay there for a minute. Wait, stay there for a minute, because then we have to be very clear about how we educate. Hello, if you are racist, that means that you have the influence and the power to present an effectuated change on a group of people. We are not racist. We can be prejudiced. But or people of color, and bringing the truth to light. That's the truth. If Arabs are in our community and they own everything, then how is that being racist? That's telling the truth. And so you understand that, because they then have the power to be able to pull monies in, take monies out, employ who they want, and then treat the people, shape a narrative, because they have the money and we don't. So we can bring it to the attention all day. And the truth of the matter is, you don't have to like it, but that's prevalent in all of our inner and urban communities across this country, is that other people are controlling the revenue stream and they're controlling the opportunity, even though black and brown people are in the political space.
In the majority of those communities. And wonder
Absolutely.
why the community look like the way it is. Because the one with the biggest purse is sending that money somewhere else. Everywhere but the community that they made it from. Now, to some of these merchants in Detroit,
Yes.
to put back into the community where their business is
Yes.
unheard of. They don't want to hear that.
Correct?
They don't want to. The Arab, the Chaldean, they say they ain't the same, but they both speak the same language,
All right,
so you
right,
figure that one, right?
Right.
They want you to believe. And here's the overreach. They recolonize everything from how you thinking about this
Sure.
to how you going about getting a job.
Sure.
Now they become your teachers.
Sure.
They become your social workers.
Sure.
They will be another ethnic group will be in a position to deem you incompetent.
Yeah. Stay there 1 minute. We're up against a higher break if you can hold on. All the lines are lit. I'd love to continue the conversation with you, Six, after a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Everyone, don't go anywhere. We're just getting into a real conversation. It started off with vaping, but it's really going to turn into empowerment. More cannabis right after the break.
I'm the president of Strava Craft Coffee. We're a local specialty coffee roaster. We've been in business for a year and a half. We chose to celebrate the infusion of cannabis into some really fantastic coffee. The really great thing about Denver is that it's a community of innovators, of makers, of specialty foods, specialty experiences. And as we've moved into the cannabis community with our hemp-infused coffee, we've connected with members of this community that are extremely supportive. They believe in our vision, and they help connect us with resources. We're using a hemp-derived CBD oil to infuse into the beans, and it produces some really fantastic results for consumers. You can enjoy a couple cups of coffee and not worry about coffee jitters, and it's fantastic for alleviating anxiety as well. We roast all of our coffees here in Denver, Colorado. We do the infusions here as well, and then package up in 12-ounce bags of whole bean coffee. And we sell those at a couple cafes locally in town, and we do sell those online, and they can order right there and we'll ship directly to their house. You can prepare it by a French press or AeroPress, however you like to prepare your coffee at home.
Imagine the rare opportunity to be positioned in front of an industry that still has a product just like water every human being on the planet needs to maintain itself, but yet still in its infancy, virtually unknown to most of the world. An opportunity that until now has been unattainable for the masses. Our company is Kanna. We are Kanna, what you've imagined.
TV 33 is moving to WHPS TV channel 15.2. Make sure to rescan the channels on your TV. Then go to WHPS channel 15.2 to pick up TV 33 and all of your favorite shows. The move is on, and we want you to move with us to WHPS channel 15.2. You're watching WHPS TV, Detroit Live.
Great, amazing morning to you. It's a little bit after the half of the hour. If you are just tuning in, it's cannabis. This is a place you want to be where we can discuss the business of cannabis. And right before the break, actually, we titled this segment Vaping. Vaping and cannabis, is it one in the same? But the truth of the matter is we're always going to dig a little deeper. You know, we always talk about symptoms versus issues. And the truth of the matter is we're really getting to what the real issues are. And it's about empowerment, marketing, and product. Right before the break, and all the lines are lit, so everyone, don't go anywhere. I'm going to get you on today. We're talking about to 6'4", he's talking about what ownership looks like in urban communities. And I really wanted us to continue that conversation, Six, so please continue.
Well, see, that vaping is perfect for this because that's what they're doing. They're vaping, they're inhaling your resources, and they're using
Nice.
marijuana to do it.
Yeah.
In a minute, that community will be able to speak for your community.
Sure.
Through marijuana, they're going to seize all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That is why it's important that you get into this
Mm-hmm.
and have a hell of a stake other than I can go to the weed house and make $15 an hour.
Right.
Now, let me just tell y'all about the mighty $15 an hour. That's the elephant in the room because they throw that number out there like that is like, no, $15 an hour is not a lot of money.
No.
If you work 40 hours a week, it's still not a lot of money.
Right.
The only way $15 an hour is a lot of money if you got 10 overtime hours, which is half of that 15, which makes that like 22, something like that.
Sure.
Now you're checking. That's the grab of the 15. So for everybody who's thinking $15 an hour is going to save my economic future.
Yes.
Without 40 plus,
Sure.
you still making what McDonald's pay you at 3 hours a day.
So wait, and stay there 1 minute, Six. Let me just ask us. And I'm so tired. So you all know I just came out of Baltimore, right? Baltimore, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago. Let me say, Chicago's Mayor Lightfoot, she's doing some other things, right? So now they're hating on her because she's trying to block big cannabis industries from coming in, and she's trying to support the mom and pops. And so folks are saying, oh, she's trying to support the drug dealers because normally, majoritively, the mom and pops don't have the resources. They're still functioning like, in all due respect, it's a trap house, if you will, from the days of old, or coming up from nothing. And so, but historically, we got black and brown people who are not pushing entrepreneurship. I need to understand, why do we think we ever gonna get over with a job? Unless you have a job that ties into a longevity piece, unless you have a job where you're learning something to then be able to turn around and give them a product, unless you have a job that you say, I need to work in this dispensary as a bud tender because I need to really understand the product, because the truth is I'm growing on my own and then I want to set up a bigger grow. Unless there is something that's going to segue you into a space where you can control your destiny better than anybody else, why are we having these conversations? Why are we the main ones that are against deregulating marijuana as a employment testing component for trying to get a job? We're the main miles up here talking about, oh yeah, and they should make sure they test because you shouldn't smoke. Are you kidding me? We're better at manning the slave masters everything. I said it. We are better. We're going to make sure his job stay right. We're going to make sure his slaves stay pure. We're going to make sure his money flow the way that it does. We'll make sure that everything is going to work right for him while he's making millions and living off of the Lake St. Clair or White Lake, and we sitting here living off of Gratiot. And we don't have any problem with it. I'm just trying across the board, because we won't do the work. Guess what? To be an entrepreneur in this industry, you got to do the work. You have to do a business plan. You have to put forth the effort to do it. If you're trying to do anything, you got to study and show yourself approved. You all should, and I tell you, and I love you all, Case and everybody, but across this country, I've met with people upon people upon people, person, who want to get into this industry, and they can't tell me anything about the industry other than what somebody told them. What is the problem? That's like your job. That's what Six is saying. The truth of the matter is, you don't maximize your job. Because if you maximize your job, you know that $15 ain't going to do nothing. If you're getting $20-something an hour, it's not going to do anything. And a news flash for those of you who bill at $150 an hour, you ain't getting nothing either.
So ain't. It just sounds good.
Absolutely. It just sounds good.
Soother.
Yes.
It's an ego soother.
Yes.
It makes you feel like, okay.
Yes.
All the work I did, it did amount to something, but it got to be better than, that's it? $30,000 a year? $45,000? Everything that you've, but see, this is what happens when you're thinking has been reshaped without your permission and
Ah,
your input. See,
ah,
our thinking has
ah.
been reshaped.
Stay
And
there.
it's
Stay there. Stay there. And call us. I get you. Don't go anywhere. I'm at 6. I'm gonna give him a few more minutes. We don't even think. We don't think. We call it thinking. We just regurgitate information. And then if someone gives you something that you're not familiar with, you'll sit and fight them all day long. As opposed to, it is something that I don't know. I can't Google my way out of it. So especially if the person looks like me, let me fall back. Let me remove my ego. Let me remove and really critically analyze why I say what I say. Not even think the way that I think. We're so busy trying to morph and change each of us into what they say we should be in this America to make America work for us. That's all we try to do. You all realize that? From the time that we got off the I was about to say the reservation for those of us, we got off the plantation. Everything that we've done has been to meet their approval to show that we're human beings, that we can go to their schools, we can go to their country clubs, we can live the way that they want to live, we can work in their companies. That's all we've done. That's all we try to prove. I can sit and talk to you all day about everything that is happening across this country, across this world in cannabis. But in my conversation, as soon as I get off this, and when I get off out of this air, I got business working for me in cannabis. Can you say the same thing? If you want to sit and talk about vaping, are you selling the cartridges that can then make you money? Do you have a component of an attachment to a product that is better and healthier because they're consuming? You know all this came from is because people were mad that Juul was monopolizing the vape pen industry, and now they want to attack the vape pen and their profit from marketing versus the product that goes into the vape pen. So now whoever is controlling a better concentrate for the product is trying to create a conversation so they can maximize that. So they can make the money off of that. But the whole narrative is, oh, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. Because who controls the narratives? Corporation, big business. So let me let you wrap up, and then I can get the other callers in.
Ed, before I go, just remember this. Only thing I'm saying is now is the time forever, black folks, develop a general consensus. And what that is something that we do that we ain't got to meet on and agree on. We just know we feel like this, okay?
Yeah.
Also, if they don't do it, why are you? I was at this gas station, and they had a Chester fried chicken in there, right?
Okay.
And all these black people was in line. And one of the brothers said, hey, man, this is some good chicken, man. I know you tried it. I said, man, I cook my own chicken. I said, but I ride past black-owned businesses all day.
Sure.
And I never see them at any of our restaurants.
Yeah.
I can't cook chicken shawarmas and sell it to them. I can't cook curry chicken and sell it to the Indian. So why am I going? And they don't even eat the stuff they selling you. Think about that. Some of them don't even smoke the weed they selling you.
Yeah.
So
wait, stay there for a minute, because we gotta meet on that, and then calls I'm gonna get you. Did you hear what he said? They don't smoke the weed and we're just being really honest and transparent. I didn't change my word terminology. I didn't say the cannabis and They don't smoke what they sell you. And the truth of the matter is, the majority of them don't grow what it is that they sell you. So they're getting it from someplace else. They don't know what's in it. No telling what it looks like. And you just jump in and consume everything. Well, that's just across the board. And then you wonder why the outcome is what it is. Wow. I'm asking, when are we going to be tired of that? Like, when are we... I just don't even understand. Like, when are you going to learn how to make this work for you? When are you going to learn to get up out of the shadows? Because you can't tell me just because you live in the shadows, you winning. You're not winning. You're living in the shadows. So when are you going to say, you know what? I'm in America. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to own my experience. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to create relationships and identify money to be able to go ahead and do what we're going to do. And I'm not going to make these sound bites while people are dying that look like me every day. literally and figuratively. Six, I appreciate you. Make today
Thank you.
amazing. Can't wait
Great
to have you back on
conversation.
the air.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Let's go to the next caller. Thanks for your patience. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning,
Hey, good
Colette.
morning, Deputy Chief.
How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you.
Good, good, good. You know, it's all about informing and educating the viewing and listening audience,
Sure.
okay? In order for them to think strategically and critically,
Yeah.
and bottom line, think for themselves,
Yes.
okay? So, to help you out, I just like to make the announcement that Detroiters United LLC
Mhm.
will launch its pilot radio show tomorrow on WHPR.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 88.1
Mm.
from 2 to 5. I'm sorry, from 2 to 4.
All right.
Yep.
That's
So,
great. Everyone, stay there for a minute. I need you to repeat that. Did you all hear that? You all should be jumping up and down and standing right where you are. Detroiters United tomorrow kicks off their radio show on 88.1 that's tomorrow, Thursday, from 2 to 4 p.m.
correct.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Correct. This will help inform and educate the public
Yes.
by having the show where it's at, WHPR.
Yes.
It'll help WHPR Enterprise.
Yes.
And so that's what it's all about. We're not only talking, we're putting our money where our mouth is,
Yes.
and others need to do the same.
Yes.
So I recommend that everyone, because we know it's going to be a successful show,
Yes.
we know it's going to help, like I say, WHPR. It's going to help you and cannabis because
Yeah.
this is political.
Yes.
It's political, and that's what we're about.
Yes.
We want to change the culture in Detroit. We want to change and make a better quality of life in Detroit.
Yes.
We support small business, big business, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
and hey, we're just going to turn this thing around. So
Nice.
again, we're launching Detroiters United LLC
Yes.
radio show on WHPR 88.1 FM. Go to the app, pull it up, and hey, let's go from there.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I definitely will put that on my calendar so I can tune in. And let me tell you all, if you've never have a takeaway from any of the conversations that Detroit Uniteds have on this show or any of the platforms off of these airwaves, get the importance of understanding the process. Because a lot of times we get caught up in the person. Stop. That will be our hindrance all day long. All
Thank you.
I'm saying is, and I believe the Deputy Chief will concur, and all of you out there will concur, if what is in place has empowered you, has benefited you, has made you believe and have faith and hope in this system of government and governance, then keep doing what you've been doing. But I'm here to tell you, there's no way you can say that what's been happening around these parts has empowered you, has created opportunities for you, and has made you more encouraged and engaged in the political process so that you too can create wealth and legacy for your family. We're still struggling trying to figure out how to pay the bills.
When we talk about cannabis, Colette,
Sure.
I always go back to how in the world do you let suburbanites come into your city, 85% black, convince your elected officials to pass marijuana, make it legal in Detroit, but the elected officials do not make it possible for the citizens of Detroit to get into the market.
Say it. You know why? Because they don't know. They're
Yeah.
all the Pinocchios to the Geppetto. And let me tell you all, and I'm not saying this because I'm just blowing smoke. I've reached out to everybody. Why don't we have a cannabis czar? Why don't we have, and it doesn't even have to be a full staffed office, you don't have one person from the mayor's administration, one person from city council's perspective that is an expert on cannabis and what those opportunities look like. All they want to do is get the little raggedy $1,500. You're not even maximizing. I tell you all the time, you're not even maximizing what you could make from a fee perspective. Ann Arbor charges $5,000 per application. We charge what, $1,250? Like, so we don't even have a comparative analysis of that. And then those of us, we don't even, because we don't think. So you don't even know what's going around this country, and then you can't even hold people accountable. For example, and let's stay there. New Mexico. So New Mexico is pulling in cannabis. They just have a hemp company that the state has allocated job training funds. Hello? So they said, guess what? You want to come in here? Then we're going to have monies that you're going to train a population of our citizenry to create a workforce that then empowers them that moves into the industry. Hello? You sit and talk about that here, and they look at you like deer in the headlights. Because the only thing that, and one last thing, I'll let you jump in, because the only thing that we know is what they tell us. We don't, Deputy Chief has said it before, we don't have any independent thought. We don't have any original thought. We just regurgitate what they say. We regurgitate who they say a candidate should look like, what they should sound like, how they should act, who they should engage, how they should get their money. And then we wonder at the end why we keep jumping on the wheel and you still on the wheel. You got bunions, your stuff hurts, but you still running on this wheel trying to get this piece of cheese that's dangling in front of you, and nowhere closer today than you were 20 years ago. Please, Deputy Chief.
Everything that you said is absolutely right, 100%. And so, when I step back and look at what's happening in Detroit politically and from the leaders in Detroit,
yes,
Detroit is the model and test ground for political ignorance and stupidity. I mean, it's right there. You can see it. And so that's why it's very, very important that we change the paradigm in Detroit and get critical thinking, strategic thinking going in Detroit. We have to inform and educate the public, period.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
We talk about entrepreneurship. The way to assist entrepreneurs is to have the right leaders sitting in City Hall.
Yes. And stay there. And the right leaders who understand partnerships and understand how to create opportunities. Because you all can be in there and think you're pushing legislation and you just passing stuff around. That's all you're doing. And then making it sound good.
Yeah, and for example, look at the Avenue of Fashion on Livernois. There's 85 businesses, according to the City of Detroit Storytelling Department. There's 85 businesses on Livernois that is impacted negatively by the construction, right?
Sure.
Not one of them, not one of those businesses has ever come out to help the people, but they want the people to get involved and help them.
Yeah, but isn't that always how it happens?
Yeah. We took a survey, and I'm telling you, it was an extensive survey, and nobody till today can tell us when do they remember when black business in Detroit supported the people.
When black businesses in Detroit supported. Well, let me just tell you, I went and had a conversation with one of the proprietors on Avenue of Fashion regarding support and partnership with the show. And I tell you, he happened to be a minister, and he grabbed his Bible and he went to try to sit and talk to me about how cannabis is wrong. And I said, well, first of all, let me tell you, sir, in all due respect, I know that you're from a recovery perspective. So I get that. But that doesn't shape this conversation, and especially when you have $1,500, $1,200, $1,000 suits. Who do you think is coming in here buying your suits? Who do you think is buying your $500 shirts? Who do you think is buying your gaiters? the same gentlemen who are entrepreneurs in the cannabis space, whether with license or are not with license, and you want to sit up here and have a conversation with me that you ain't going to support me in the contradiction behind cannabis, stop. And so then you wonder why now your businesses are struggling. Hello? There has to be some type of reciprocity. Do we not well, guess what? Bingo. Because we take that business model from everybody else. So everybody else can come into the community. They don't give back. They don't have to give back. We're just happy when we run into the store that they say hi to you while you're giving them your money. And they say hi to you behind the bulletproof glass. And we just happy that when they walk out and while they driving up in their big cars to get out to the suburbs, that they can say hi. And we happy to say hi. And then we do the same thing, and none of us are empowered.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in closing,
Sure.
Again, Detroiters United,
Sure.
LLC, is launching its pilot radio show,
Yes.
88.1, tomorrow from 2 to 4.
All right, everybody tune in tomorrow, 2 to 4, Detroiters United Radio. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. More than my pleasure. So, everyone, there you have it. But let me just tell you, if you don't understand anything that we have been talking about, understanding politics, the importance of marketing shaping the conversation, and money mean everything. Massachusetts social equity applicants have been stymied by the state's host community rules, paired with the lack of funds. Cannabis Control Commissioner Chairman Stephen Hoffman said in an interview on Mass Live, of the 537 applicants first submitted to the commission, just 14 came from economic empowerment applicants, and from the 122 economic empowerment businesses given the priority status, only 28 were minority owned. And I quote, "The biggest issue is they don't have any money," Hoffman said in the interview, noting that if a lender is willing to invest in a cannabis business, they will not lend to someone who lives in Boston, has a criminal record, and $8 net worth. There you have it. You better understand how to make this system work. You have to understand business. You have to understand credit. You have to understand marketing. You have to understand partnership, because no matter what they put on the books, that will just be to appease and say that we did it, and then we still can't reap the benefits of it. You have to go beyond where you are, no matter who's around you. And if you are around individuals who are constantly fighting you to move forward, to do something better, the way that you are, they don't know how to bring out the best in you, then you need to get a new circle. It's just that simple. And you have to be willing to do the work. So when we started off the conversation, it was supposed to be about what vaping looks like, but you know how we are. It all turns into understanding what they tell us, what they show us from a media perspective, and then breaking it down a little different. We're going to sit and talk about vaping because, yes, we don't want lives taken. But the truth of the matter is that it is an issue now because of the revenue that is generated outside of it. No one's talking about addressing what is actually in the cartridges. What do they say? Well, just don't smoke it until we know anything about it. But folks will still, now there's an addictive quality to it because it's supposed to be safer. But who did the marketing for that? All I'm asking you to do is, no matter what we present on this show, that you take the information, you look at it critically, and then you actually digest what's given. And then you assess who's the messenger. What they always used to tell you, don't shoot the messenger, just get the message. Well, on this show, you can hold me accountable for what I present to you. And then the information that I present, we can discuss it. Because at the end of the day, you will be educated, you will be empowered, and you will be enlightened. And that is the goal. So as we conclude our conversation on vaping and cannabis, know that you are empowered by having the information. Know that at the end of the day, this is an industry that you can make work for you. There are various capacities in the space that are all opportunities. And we're here to make it work for you. For more information, you can go to cannabiz.tv. That's KANNABIZ.tv. I'm a wealth of information there, and thank you for watching the show and you sharing it. You can ask for more information about CASE, the Cannabis Association for Social Equity. Help with your business models, help with identifying financing, whatever it looks like, that's my goal. Because I am better when we are better. And I'm committed to us making America work. So thank you so much for your time. Make your moments matter. That is what matters. What happened in the past is done. The future has yet to be seen. But where we are right now is what we can positively effectuate. And I'm here to help that and facilitate that conversation. Thank you for your time today. Look forward to seeing you bright and early tomorrow for what? Coffee and Conversation with Colette. And we're going to talk about relationships. Who should lead? Should women listen to the man? Women should follow their husbands? The queen on the board of chess is the most important piece, but we still want to walk away and be the king. Don't miss the conversation for tomorrow. I'll see you again at 7 a.m. See you then.